Sound test. It seems that we are live. Yes, we are. Hi, Minkle. No, why is the stupid restream? Why? Why does it change the title? Last week and this week. So annoying. Okay. Okay, so Twitch changed, but already the broadcast recording on Twitch will be saved as coding title or something like that. Okay, then this thing. So annoying. Okay, that thumbnail. Okay. There is Codeforces round finishing in half a minute. How's your Kotlin going? I'm not using Kotlin. Okay, hello everybody in the chat. And now I think that YouTube description is fixed. Twitch fixed. Now I need to hide the plant stream. Okay, edit. Huh. And I see, by the way, that I set the wrong time on YouTube. Well, you are private. Well, my bad. Please make more tutorials for intermediate coders. We are starving out there. What topics are not covered by tutorials? Is that a green screen behind you? No, it's not green screen. It's physical object. Why don't I compete in Codeforces? Lack of time. Today I had such a busy day. Okay, plan for today. To solve those 8 problems, if I'm counting correctly, problems 13 through 20. Every time I will run a timer. Remind me if I forget to do it. Also, there will be text with information what I'm doing right now. So the text will first be 13 part 1, just next to my face. Also, I want the camera to be here. Okay. Maybe more on just problem solving in general, like streaming LeetCode contest or something, please. I mean, do not expect more things for the next month. I'm busy until 26th of January. So basically, you will get nothing from me in January. Sorry about that. Maybe at the beginning of February, I will do something for YouTube. I mean, on YouTube. I'm guessing whoever cares about Codeforces more than they will be right now they will watch the other stream. So if you participate in Codeforces, most likely what you want to do is join the stream by Aryang, this one, with discussion of the round that was just finished. I did not participate, I don't know the problems. I just want to do those Advent of Code problems for the sake of completion. It's not that I think the problems are particularly nice. In particular, if I think that the problems are very bad, I will just, well, I will not do all of them. We'll see. Do I have any online courses? No, I don't. Would you buy one? Last stream, so a week ago also, people told me that I should make one. I started making one on interviews 5 years ago, but then I stopped after a few months. We'll see, maybe next year. In half a year, I have my 30th birthday, and I would want to do something meaningful before that, like write a book. But if I don't start soon, then I will not have enough time to finish by my birthday. All right, I think we're ready to start. This will be 13.cpp. Why doesn't it open? Okay, here you go. What do you think about LMs solving coding competitions? Well, yeah, they can handle easy problems. Will I do a course for LeetCode? Maybe one day. I'll see. I mean, as I told you, 5 years ago, I started doing course for coding interviews. And I wasn't doing it alone. But then we stopped. We'll see, maybe next year. All right, let's start. This is Advent of Code 2024. 12 problems already done, most of them just during a stream last week. I don't know the new problems. From 13 onward, I did not open it. So you will see me attempt it live. We'll see how it goes. So this is 13 part 1. Let's start the timer and let's go. There are 2 buttons, A and B. It costs 3 tokens to push the button A and 1 token to push the button B. You can move a claw to the right or a specific amount forward. There is a prize, so we need to get to some coordinates. So what is this, the input? Get your puzzle inputs. Yeah, that's such an overcomplicated format. All right, so there is button A shifting us by 25 to the right, 60 up. This is another basically vector of transition, and we want to get there. The question is, how much can we spend on it? But most of the time, if those are not collinear vectors, there will be only one way to achieve that. It's like a system of equations, right? Well, for such small data, I can just iterate how many times I use one button. And I can easily compute how many times I should hit the other button. The big difficulty will be reading the input, but scanf does it well. So I think, well, scanf of what? I want to read this, for example. Well, scanf of S is not end of file. I want to read this again, that will be A. Then we read x plus something, and I think we can code it like this: x plus %d dot and x. This is called button AX. Then y plus %d, enter, and that's AY. Let's see if I correctly read even the first two values. So let's print AX, AY, and then return 0. For now, I just want to verify that the first line is correct. This is 13 on the input, 0, 0, so it's not correct. Does this help? $25.60. Ignore that. This is some issue with my compiler. Okay. I am live, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I am. Not first time this month, second time. Okay, then after doing this, we need to read the same for B. Beautiful copy paste. Let's go. I mean, it's so short that there is no point making a function. Bx, by. And then there will be some kind of target, the price. So I read, that will be the price information. Then x is equal to something. So x is equal to %d dot space. That will be price x. And then y equal %d py. And let's skip white line. Okay, let's see if this is the first number AX and last number PY. The last pair is 38 and something. This is 38 and something. Okay, the input is there. Now in this version, I'm going to just iterate how many times I use the first button. I times a of x cannot exceed px. I plus plus. And then the number of times I use the second button is what is missing. So if I use this many times the first button, then I already moved by that much. Now divide by bx, and this is your candidate for how many times you use the other button. And there might be more efficient way to do it, like solving a system of equations, but it's not necessary. Now I just need to verify if I times ax plus j times bx is equal to px. If I times b ay plus j times py, if the y coordinate is correct, then this is a possibility. And we need to compute the sum of costs. What? You estimate that each button would need to be pressed no more than 100 times to win a prize. How does it matter? What? Why do they say that? The data is so small that I can iterate everything. Strange. Very strange. Okay, let's limit I and j if they say so, but shouldn't then it mean that it doesn't matter? Huh. Anyway, answer plus equal, what costs 3, what costs 1? It costs 3 tokens to push the first one. Okay. Basically, it seems that I can here put an assert, and they claim that it doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, it is some information about the time complexity that you don't need to worry, you can iterate. So will the assert hold? Sanitizer, that's unusual. What did I do wrong? Division by 0. I thought that we have no zeros, at least from how I saw the input. Do we have zeros? Plus 0. We don't have zeros. Then how do I divide by 0? Assert bx is not 0 before the division. Assert failed. Let's print then ax bx. Maybe something wrong with the way I read. 25 0. 25 0. I thought that I'm reading correctly, but it seems that I have 0 instead of 60. No, 0 instead of 54. Well, it's more like this. AX, AY, BX, BY. Do they not claim that solutions where I or j greater than 100 are not to be counted towards your final answer? This is not how I understood it. Where is 100? You estimate that each button would need to be pressed no more than this. Well, what does it mean? You estimate that this? Is it a guarantee about the input or what? What a stupid sentence. I don't know. And but somebody is saying that I will understand it part 2. Okay, Sema, I believe you. But then couldn't they say it in the part 2? Okay, so am I reading wrong? Yes, I am. Because there is this missing part. No? Wasn't it? Oh, I need to read 2 things, button A, button B. So what about this? Still wrong. Wait, I need to do it here, and then the price is 1 item. Beautiful. Okay. Well, assert didn't fail. Let's try. Let's try. That's the right answer. Here we go. That was 10 minutes, including some confusion about that strange condition. Let's now try part 2. And I will make a file 13 part 2 CPP. Continue to part 2. Okay, what do we have? And time. Now x and y are higher by this much. What is the number of zeros here? 10 to the power 13. They only wrote that 100 presses are enough in order to say that it's not enough in the second part. Why would you say that? You could have just removed those 2 paragraphs. So strange. Anyway, I'm sure that it can be proved. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it can be proved that one of the 2 buttons shouldn't be pressed too many times, because what would be the point of pressing it many times? Or no, I'm stupid, right? Yeah. Let's visualize this. So we have 2 vectors possible. There is some target very far away, but it's very close to the line y equals to x. It's somewhere around here, the target. And then I have 2 vectors, one that looks like this. I can use it some number of times. And then the second one that looks like this. I can use it some number of times. Now, does it matter that I want to be very close to y equal to x line? I don't think so. They hinted that you can solve it with brute force, but in the second part it's impossible with brute force. But there were already previous problems where you looked at the input to understand the time complexity. So why not here? Yeah, so one thing we can do is binary search how many times I will use the first vector in order to know if from where I am, if using the second vector is okay or not. I can also solve a system of equations, and there should be exactly one answer if the vectors are not collinear. I guess let's solve a system of equations. Is there even better way? So I will copy this because we still multiply. I will need to actually use longs. So the input is the same, right? Yeah. I need to add this to both px and py. So those are obviously longs now. Long LLD px plus equal py plus equal. Okay, now let's solve. I times ax plus j times bx is equal to px. I times, and here I and j are unknown. I times ay, yeah, plus this is equal to py. Let's get I from the first equation. That's I is equal to px minus j times bx divided by ax. Let's plug it here to the second equation. That's this. And from here I want to get j. Let's multiply both sides by x to get rid of division. And now what do I want? J. So we need to get rid of those brackets. Px times ay minus j times bx times ay plus this. Now move j to one side. Let's leave it be on the left side. Here you go. Now j is this divided by that. That's the only possibility. By the way, what we see here is a cross product. This is also a cross product. So cross product of a times p divided by cross product of a times b. Why does that make sense? Should we look at areas for that? I just wonder how I could have done it without the math. Yeah, Gupta, of course there are libraries, but why did we get cross product of AP? So we can say this, A times P divided by A times B, it seems. And then I'm guessing that I also can be similar. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm going to do some experimentation first. Here we find I and j. Let me assert that j is equal to py times ax minus px times ay divided by this. First, before I actually code it, I want to make sure that in the easy part this was correct. What did I do wrong? What? Why? I commented everything out. Oh, assert doesn't have a bracket. Okay, so So now if I run this for the input, yeah, it's correct. So this was correct logic. Then I'm also saying that I is equal to, well, py times bx minus px times by divided by this with swapped values. This. Okay. Then we just need to say immediately that this is the case. So now increase. This is j. This is I. I hope they do not overflow, but I think if you just multiply 10 to 13 by something from the input, it will not exceed 10 to 18. This can be not divisible. I hope just that this is not 0, so they are not collinear. If they are collinear, then I will get division by 0, because the solution is not unique. We'll see how it goes. And here, if this is now correct, so if both of those are right, then the answer increase like that. Answer now is a long. Get rid of that. Where is answer? Here. Long answer. LLD. What? And single equality, because I don't check, I make. Now, do I have overflows? No. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Correct. That's 8 minutes and a half. Okay, so I solved a system of equations, but apparently the number of times we use a vector is equal to, so vector A should, number of times we should use vector A is A times the target P, divided by A times B. Well, this has a meaning of area. Strange. A times P. But if I treat it as area, then also we are looking at this thing, and we are saying that A times P, that's this thing. And this divided by A times B, so the area between green and red, so I divide by that. I don't know why this is so easy. Why the final formula is just division of two cross products. There is a way to solve line intersection with cross products. Yeah, maybe that's a way to relate it. Maybe. Intersection of two lines at point P. But I don't see how we are intersecting two lines here, really. I mean, because we don't know where that second red line is. You need to figure that out. Oh, it works. It works. So if anybody later can figure out why the final formula is just this division, then do let me know. Right, that was task 13. We can now close this, close that, copy template.cpp 14.cpp. And we're going for problem 14, part 1. Time, let's go. No. Predictable straight lines, list of all robots' current positions and velocities, one robot per line. A lot of geometry in the last few problems. That's not good generally in competitions, no matter if it lasts for a month or 2 hours. So you start from this position, you have this vector or velocity. I will keep saying vector. There is robot position. Sure. The robots outside the actual bathroom are in space which is 101 tiles wide and 100. Wait, what? Outside? Is this size of the grid or size of the outside? The robots are good at navigating under each other so they do not collide. Example, they can teleport. When a robot would run into an edge of the space they are in, they instead teleport to the other side, effectively wrapping around. Okay, like in Snake where you move from last column to the first column. Where will the robots be after 100 seconds? Okay, so the hard part will be where they are after 1 billion seconds, right? Safety factor. What is the safety factor? Count the number of robots in each quadrant after 100 seconds. Wait. But the size was not divisible by 2. 11 tiles by 7. And then we're talking about quadrants. Robots exactly in the middle do not count. Okay. It's strange to... I understand that some problem authors prefer to not use formal definitions and instead provide some kind of story. But here, for safest area, we count number of robots in each quadrant and then multiply it? Why? Why would safety come from a product of 4 values? Okay. Let's solve this. I will immediately solve what I think is solution for hard version, which I'm guessing will just be the same, but we need to do more moves. Or, well, let's first do the easy version. We read in this format. So we have this. While scanf of p is equal to %d, comma, number, space, v equal, numbers, comma, number, and skip white space, px, py, vx, vy. While this, we have something, and now I will say that px gets increased by vx times 100 in this version, modulo size of the grid, and the size of the grid is, well, in the full version it was 101 wide. Are the coordinates from 0 or from 1? From 0, I'm guessing. Yes. Okay, this %101. $103, right? This in the hard version will be most likely long. And if it's not exactly in the middle, it belongs to some quadrant. So let's have constants for those. If px is not w by 2, right, 50 is exactly in the middle? Yes, it is. And py is not exactly in the middle, then answer of px is greater than this, py is greater than that, plus plus. This is a Boolean value 0 or 1, and this is a Boolean value 0 or 1. So this way I compute array 2 by 2, and at the end I need to print the product. Of course I could have done that with a for loop, but it seems that this is faster. I need variables. I got something. That's not the right answer. It is too low. What can I do? I guess that I should try the sample test, or maybe first let's print the values of px and vy. Oh, also negative values. This can be negative. Plus w modulo w. Yeah. Plus h modulo h. If their values are negative, then applying modulo will still leave a negative value. It will not be from 0 to the modulo minus 1. So let's see if it's different. Yes, it is different and greater. That's a good sign. I need to wait 8 seconds. Yeah. Indeed, RestroomBot copies the messages. If you guys think that the copying messages is annoying, then I can turn it off and you will just get chat only from your own platform. That's the right answer, gold star. So start again after 7 minutes and a half. This is part 2. Now will it take more than a few seconds? What? Okay, I did not guess the part 2. Very rarely, most of the robots should arrange themselves into a picture of a Christmas tree. That's nice, to be honest. Okay, there are 2 things we can try. One is, after every second of simulation, we can display the picture, and if within 1,000 turns they will make a tree, then we will see it. But I have another idea. Let's try to find a moment when the picture is symmetrical, because that might be it. Most likely well, it depends on whether this Christmas tree, it has some kind of ornaments. If it's just a tree, triangles, then it's symmetrical and the program might be able to detect it. Anyway, I need to save this into a vector. So 14 part 2 CPP, copy, put it here. I need vector of pairs position and the speed. Or maybe start position and how do they call it? Velocity. Let's go with velocity. Fine. Position push back px py. Velocity and place back vx vy. You see, this problem might be stupid. I don't know what will be the exact solution, but for the first time, it got me thinking. Previous advent of code problems were tedious, maybe, or at most, or just easy. This one, I'm starting to think about different possibilities for what to do. So first possibility, will print after every turn, we will print the grid. Polish term for velocity. I'm not sure what is the difference between velocity and the speed, because at least one of them in Polish is prędkość or szybkość. A lot of szysy. No. While true, let's create a grid of size h, each field with this, with spaces, then it will be easiest to notice. Now for every item, position of I first plus equal the velocity. And for each of those two values, I want to get it down to a range. So ifs, but like that. Okay, increase by this. X is equal to x modulo what, w? What goes first? X, yes. So this plus w modulo w. This is how you can get even negative number fixed. And then add that. H. And then grid of x, y is equal to some kind of hash or x. Then we print. And an extra empty line. What went wrong? This is grid A. Grid A. Not length, it's the size. Well, I don't see a Christmas tree. What can we do? We can save to output file, let it run for some time, kill, open the file. Whoops, it is already a big file. I think that, wait. Okay, that's too much. Force quit. Okay. So I don't want that much. Can we decrease the font? Okay. I'm looking for a drawing. This was very regular, but it doesn't, I mean, it was random noise, and then suddenly it's this. But this is not a Christmas tree, right? Am I not seeing something? Well, this doesn't seem to work, so let's do something extra. I will look for symmetric, or at least kind of symmetric picture. So I'm going to count positions where it's symmetrical, left versus right, because I expect that drawing to behave like that. So for every item, if a of I j is equal to an x, and a of I, and symmetrical thing, left versus right, is also an x, count plus plus. And I want j to be smaller than this. If count is greater or equal 10, then print. And flash the output. Oh, that there was clearly a square over there somewhere. There was something there. Okay, let's get rid of the noise. Still a lot of noise. Yay! Well, I guess I didn't expect this drawing. Or did I expect it to be like that? For every string. I guess I'm messing up. X for me is a column. But there is still some noise. So what did I count? The first coordinate is the same. All right. So what happened is I counted and I saw that this is X and this is X, and that might be symmetrical. Also here there are a bunch of symmetrical X's. Here there are a lot of symmetrical X's. Here I did not count it, but my threshold was enough. I'm guessing that I would find it easier if I looked for the other kind of symmetricity. So for my X coordinate, which is the row. Well, still, this repeats from time to time. So let's print the turn, the current turn. The turn starts at 0, turn plus plus. That much, right? And then it cycles by 10,000. What do they ask about? Fewest number of seconds. Then this. Yay. Well, I like my idea of checking symmetric cases. Yeah, and it's it's not noise, it's snow. Okay, makes sense. But I guess in such a drawing it's hard to distinguish. Let's also print this, but swap X and Y, so maybe more like this. For every X, no, what do I want to do? This. A of XY, new line, and stop. This is the, well, now it looks way more normal because of how size of the font works. So every character is taller than wider. A moment ago I had very wide tree after rotating by 90 degrees. But wait, how can it be snow if there is also snow under the tree and under the box with a tree? It's not snow, it is random noise. Snow would only be above it. Unless this is some kind of box floating through air together with snow. You know, falling with the same speed as the Christmas tree box. I just got here, is he making a Christmas tree? I'm solving a problem where we needed to find a picture of Christmas tree. Satish says, how are you doing? I'm seeing you after 2 years, really nostalgic. Used to watch every video lecture and post-contest discussion of you in second thread. Nice to hear that. Still there are people on Codeforces doing the post-contest discussion. Yeah. This month I'm just doing Advent of Code. I don't think I will do it again next year. I just printed them all and did Control F for a lot of hashes. Okay, that's smart. So in this big one, in this big file, if I scroll to the top, Control F, XXXXX. Okay, that's very smart. Gupta, I think you're smarter than my symmetricity argument. Good point. We're looking for a picture that is not random, so a lot of things are together, and it's not necessarily symmetric. So there are a lot of ways to construct this problem and its test so that my idea wouldn't work, but yours would work. We're looking for an area that is not random. Right, problem 14 solved in around 10 minutes. Next will be problem 15. So let's change the text next to my face. 15 part 1. I did a convolution with a 5 what? I found a 5 by 5 filled in region. I assumed it was part of the tree. I don't think convolution is necessary for a grid that small, but indeed that can be done. Basically, sliding window sum can be done faster, or two-dimensional prefix sum. You can find 5 by 5 special pattern with convolution. How did you know it contains straight lines? I mean, a tree contains the middle of a tree, so most likely it will contain a straight line. Not the box, but the tree. Even if it's rotated by 90 degrees, it contains straight lines. If it was just outline of a tree, then still there would be a straight line over here at the bottom of the tree, most likely. Why not participate in Codeforces rounds? Usually because I don't have time and a will. Okay, close this, reset the timer. Now it will be 15.cpp. Close everything else. Increase the font size. Problem 15. Let's go. Timer start. I'm skipping that. We have a map of warehouse and a list of movements the robot will attempt to make. The problem is that the movements will sometimes fail, making the actual movements difficult to predict. So this is the grid. We start here, I'm guessing, and we try to make those moves. If there are any boxes in the way, the robot will also attempt to push those boxes. Can we push multiple boxes? So that's kind of a game where we push a lot of boxes together. There are 2 boxes here, and yes, we can push a lot of them. Sure. And what do I print? The GPS coordinate of a box is equal to 100 times its distance from the top edge of the map plus its distance from the left edge of the map. Sum of box GPS coordinates. Okay, got it. I wonder what will be the hard part with the same input. And are there new lines here? Did I copy everything? I think so. All right. So there is the map. Then an empty line. Then this. And those are just a bunch of lines. Why are they separate lines? That's a little bit strange. This is sample input. Okay, so we need to read the grid. Do I want to, how do I want to store it? I wonder if it should be a 2D array, or maybe I should have a vector with pairs representing positions of boxes. You should ignore the new lines. Yeah, I mean, I can even do a backspace here. in case I suspected that this wouldn't work correctly in my program. Okay, and there we can have 4 different directions. Let's see. Okay, I will have the grid. While true, or maybe we read A of row. Now there is some kind of H value and W value. Always we say that H becomes row, let's say, or maybe I will do it once at the end. Now there is that empty line. So if A of row, maybe this, get length of this thing, and if it's 0 then do something, or just a single character, then break. Also H is equal to the number of rows, and W is length of the previous one. Let's print for starters H and W. (79 by 55). That's too much. How did I get those values? For this input. I see 50 lines of length 50. I could of course hard code the data, but why is it 79 and 55? I'm puzzled. We have a lot of 50s, then thousands, and then stuff. Oh, I'm guessing that the empty line is just skipped. In particular because I do this, because I skip white spaces. I see. Okay, then if this or W or row is greater or equal 1 and W is not equal to length of the previous line. And what do you want? This is A of row. So if you see a line that is different from the previous one. Okay, now it works. 50 by 50, great. Then I need to continue reading. And those are the moves. I will save them to one big string, I'm guessing. Moves. Moves plus equals string of S while reading something. No, string of A of row. Not elf, moves plus equal. Let's print now the length of moves. It should be divisible by 1000. Yeah, 20,000 moves, 50 by 50 grid. Great. Now, for every move, I need to know where I am. So where I am, I can maintain. This will be me. Row, column of my current position. I keep ignoring getLine. Oh yeah, good point, Sama. I guess it's optimal to switch between between scanf and getLine and scene, depending on what is needed. In some previous problems, it was convenient to use scanf because you expected a particular format. Here, getLine would be better. I don't know. I'm not reading in C++ expert. For every cell, if this cell is a what? This thing. A of row column is equal to that. Then let's save it as my coordinate, and additionally let's change it to a dot. Let's then make sure that I indeed found something. For that I like to assert that it's still not a -1. Always better to use an assert than not know what went wrong. And then for every move in moves, there will be some direction according to the character. So we have those characters, and I want the direction. So I will make a function get the direction, where I will say if this is equal up, return row decreases by 1, column by 0. If this, then the opposite. This go to the right, so column increases by 1. And finally assert false, that we got some unexpected character. We have the direction, and we want to apply it and see if there is a box there. I want to get a vector of all the boxes I have in a row, and I want to detect if after that there is a dot. If so, I will shift. So I want to check. Maybe this is my coordinate. While true, row plus equal the direction, column plus equal the direction. And there are a few possibilities. If this is outside the grid, then this is bad. So if not inside of row column, or there are walls there, right? Hashes. Or actually, I can never be outside if the outside boundary is hashes, so I don't need to check that. It's enough to check if grid of row column is equal to this, then this is not good. Empty space is false, and here we will just break. Else, and I don't need to type else. If A of row column is equal to a dot, then good. Empty space is equal to true, break. Depending on that, I will decide if I should actually move and push the boxes. Otherwise, I will not make a move. And here, finally, there is a case that this is a box, which is uppercase O. Yeah. I see some discussion about pipes and so on. Parsing in Python is quite easy with split, so I made a template function for that in C++ for advent of code. Makes sense. I should have done that. Okay, and here finally boxes and place back there. This. Okay, now if empty space is false, then there is nothing to do. So if not empty space, then continue. But if there is empty space, then I, with all the boxes, should move. Moving myself is easy. Moving the boxes, well, it requires us shifting the grid, where maybe this. For everything in the boxes, first A of P first, P second is equal to a dot. Then let's iterate again after this is done. P first plus direction, p-second plus direction. So where I will be after one turn, that changes into a box. That's it. I shifted boxes, and additional I need to shift myself. Done. At the very end, I need some kind of hash. If this is uppercase O, so a box, answer plus equal. I think this was the formula mentioned in the statement. Let's try. That's the right answer. 13 minutes and a half. Part 2. Yeah, I don't really have ideas for what it can be, the part 2. Huh. Safe moment to swim and turn off. What? Second warehouse's robot is also malfunctioning. Everything except the robot is twice as wide. So there are bigger boxes. All right. So we shift like that, and when I go up or down, I need to detect if it's part of a box. We shift boxes that are bigger. At least we need to think about the proper way to represent the boxes, because now I need to understand if two neighboring cells belong to the same box, because then both should be moved. The logic with empty space will remain the same. If it's empty space, I will move. If not, I will not move. If I encounter some box, I'm thinking. Maybe every cell should come with ID of a box. And I know that next to it there is some equal ID. If I am here at this M, that's me, and there is a box here, and I try to go down, then it is also important that I'm trying to shift something to this question mark space. Both question marks should be empty. Right, but then what happens? Will I try to push all those boxes if I from here go down? Oh yeah, the full tree of boxes will move. So even the logic of empty space doesn't work right now. Well, that's harder. So I need to say that both cells of this box are trying to move down. Each of those triggers some other things. When a thing is triggered, the whole box, so both cells that belong to this box, try to move into the same direction. And if at least once they encounter something that is bad, so all those cells, they would need to be empty. If at least one is bad, then the situation is bad and I'm not shifting anything. Okay. And I will go with that ID thing. Every cell, I will remember the ID of a box that this belongs to. And I need to double the size of the grid. All right, so me is this. Me dot first times equal to me dot second times equal to. Then the grid. Okay, for every cell starting from the end, that's important to not overwrite things. A of row column is equal to A of row over 2 column. No, row column over 2. So the column 6 gets information from column 3. Additionally, there is a thing about the boxes. If A of row column over 2 is equal to a box, then ID of the current cell is equal to, let's say, this hash. Whatever, that's just something. Some information that will be the same for both cells. Or easier, let's just make a variable next ID, starting with 1. Next ID, only if column modulo 2 is equal to 0, then next ID plus plus. I want to do it once every 2 things. Let's verify. At this point, I want to also say this gets multiplied by 2, and let's print ID of row column. Okay, we got something. Let's save that as out, and let's see if what is printed makes sense. So this is the input. In particular, here we have empty, and then box, 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 3 boxes in a row. And here we have empty, and then box, box, box. Good, that seems correct. And then 3 empty or 3 blocked in a row. Yeah. All right. So the ID is done. For every move, get the direction, get the positions with boxes. Okay, this will behave like a queue, like BFS queue. That's me. I'm going to, I think, insert myself to boxes because the logic will be similar. This time I will make a variable for any blocked. If I see that a single cell cannot move forward, I'm going to change this to true. If any blocked, then this. All right, while true, not while true. Now, iterate the boxes. And I will say that here, boxes push back me. Here row is this element and column. And this thing, no matter if it's me or something else, it tries to move forward by 1. So I can say plus direction. If this is a hash, then this is bad. So we say any blocked is true and break. Then if it's a dot, I don't do anything. But if this is an O, so it's a box, then assuming that it's not visited yet, I add it to the queue and I add the other element that is next to it and belongs to the same box. So if, for convenience, let's use a set here. It could be done without the extra logarithm from a set, but this will be just convenient. This is visited. The me I don't need to insert there. If not visited count of row column, or the ID, yeah, that's better. Set of integers then. Slightly faster if you have ints instead of pairs. Me.second doesn't need ×2. Yes, that's right. Thank you. I guess me.first doesn't need ×2. Right? Because this is row, this is column. Okay, so thanks. It would be annoying to find. You can spot mistakes, that's fine. I'm not trying to be competitive here. I think it's good if we avoid me for 10 minutes struggling. If it was virtual participation of a Codeforces round, then I would not want help. Wait. No, never mind. I wanted to say something stupid. I wanted to say that always we will get coordinate of the other cell from the same box, but by looking at column XOR 1, but that's true only at the beginning. In the initial grid, it's always the case that if there is some column of mine, the box, then column XOR 1 is the other cell in the same box, but after they start getting shifted, it's not always the case. Okay, for columns either -1 or +1, if ID of myself is equal to ID of you, then it's the other thing that also should be, that belongs to the same thing. So boxes in place back row C. Also boxes in place back row column. Okay, then this is not needed. Finally, if any block did not happen, then I move this, sure. I erase the first element from boxes, because that's myself, not a real box. Then for everything belonging to boxes, change to dot, then do this, but there is also ID involved. They come here in pairs. I think I can do it here. ID of P first plus direction, P second plus direction is equal to, no, I would need to move backwards. That's tricky. Well, let's redo IDs. Why not? So I have this next ID, I'm going to use it. No, it's not a good idea. TMP of this. Let's save to a second helper array the ID, so that it wouldn't matter in what order I considered boxes and the IDs wouldn't overlap, basically. And then ID of P.first, P.second is 0. And then here, ID of this gets taken from TMP. I think this second array is necessary, otherwise some ID gets moved and changed to 0, and then some other place will try to use that 0 to copy itself. Done. Just joined. How much of a problem remaining? I hope that 10 seconds. I hope that we are done just about now. Not the right answer. The answer is too high. Well, then maybe more is remaining. By the way, can you, instead of solving the problem, just binary search the answer if they always tell you low or high? How often can you submit? If I now click it, this. Can you just submit once every minute? So in 20 minutes I could solve any problem, almost? Is that correct? Should we try it for the next problem? It gets higher. Oh, nearby the result, you don't get the high versus low indication. Okay, that makes sense. But for small enough range, still that would be a viable option. Exponential backoff, that would also work. Like, yeah, so 1 minute, 1 minute, 1, then more and more time, 5, 10. Like when you try different codes for your phone, it also allows you a few times and then you need to wait more and more. So should we try the sample test? Sample, run on sample. 18,063. Oh, that's easy. It's just roughly twice too big. I should only do it for second element in a row. So for every box, only do it if A of row column minus, sorry, if ID of row column is not the same as ID of column -1. So you're the first element of a pair. Now that works. It was very easy to guess because the answer was roughly twice too big or too small. That's the right answer. So part 2 done, 17 minutes. What's up, chat? Why did you put 105 by 105? You mean the array? I made it big enough. I think it's actually 50 by 50 or 50 by 100, but whatever, doesn't matter. Made a nice animation of the part too. Well, yeah, you can of course print what happens after every turn. On YouTube, I think if you search for some of the problems, you will find visualizations. 17 minutes while talking with the chat is so slow or so fast, but you know, it has consent pros. Somebody helped me with that bug. So it's kind of group solving. Hello, Julio Enrique. Nice to see you again. In Twitch, Julio, you're displayed as first time chat, which suggests that it's not that, so it suggests that it's not that again you're using the chat. Maybe what happens is that you viewed the live streams before, but you didn't chat. Then I guess it makes sense. Some people did this in Minecraft. Nice. Okay, reset. I don't know. In Minecraft, can you do anything? Can you build a Turing machine? Copy template CPP 16 CPP. Let's change the text. 16 part 1. Oh, visualization. Okay. Okay, let's go. Problem 16. How long is the stream? Hour and a half. I did 3 problems. 5 more remaining. I don't think I'm willing to stream for more than another hour and a half. We'll see. But I don't think I will go to problem 20 today. They compete for the lowest score. There is start tile. We are facing east, so to the right. We need to go to E. We cannot move to a wall. It costs 1000 to rotate. So it costs 1. I don't know why they are talking about the score. It takes 1 second to move forward. It takes 1 second to rotate by 90 degrees. You can rotate 7 times and move 36 times forward. What is the lowest score? Okay, that's easier than previous problems, I would say. A standard, well, not BFS, Dijkstra problem, where the current state is where you are and what direction you're facing. It seems that to me that we already got some problem like that among the first 15 problems. I don't know. Okay, so there is this. We are looking for the start, S, and E the target. Let's make a big enough grid. H and W. We read the grid and what? Okay. Now let's search for those 2 cells. If this is start, then start is equal to those coordinates. If it's equal to the target, then the target is equal to those coordinates. Additionally, let's, just like in the previous problem, change the character into a dot so that we could move through it freely. It wouldn't be treated as a wall. It's not necessary, just safer. Start and target should be created. I assume that they are found. Then we will have BFS, no, Dijkstra. If the grid was small, very small, like 20 by 20, then actually we should prioritize doing a few turns. But here I just need to take the full score. So the current score +1 for a move forward, plus whatever, 1000 for turning. So yeah, Dijkstra seems needed. Dijkstra's algorithm. For that, I want set or priority queue with pairs of the cost and the state. Let's make a struct for the state. State. Where I am and the direction. So this is set for Dijkstra. Do I need anything else? I guess map from state. Maps are very slow. What I want to use is just a multi-dimensional array. That being said, I have logarithm from here, so time complexity does not change. Yeah, let's do it like this. Distance. So here will be saved information for this state. What is the best distance? I will start by saying distance of start first, start second, first, start second, and the direction to the east. Let's make directions. East is 1, 0. Then let's say up or down, whatever, -1, 0, 0, -1. What's the important thing here is that next to each other are two directions that are different by 90 degrees, so you can move between them. This is the first direction. It moves, well, I wanted to say that it moves column by +1 because we save east. So let's try this. This is east. Yep. Okay, so we start with direction where our direction is 0. And the distance of that is 0. And state insert a pair of 0 and that thing. This is starting state. I'm using it twice, so I'm making a variable. Distance of starting state is equal to that. So far, there is some compilation error. If I want to use state in set or map, it needs to have a comparator, at least in C++. Pairs by default can be compared, so I can just let pairs do the job. It doesn't matter for me what order this is exactly. It's in internal order inside of map, or it's also for ties in the set. Well, that's not empty. Let's take the first item. That's as begin second. That's from the set erase state begin. And then you have 3 possible moves. All of them you need to consider, turning and all that stuff, but they are similar kind of. So I will make a for loop of size 3. State.row, or maybe I should make a copy. Okay. If I is 0, then state to, let's see, row plus equal directions of the direction dot first. This is where we move forward, and same for the column. So I try 3 possible moves. One is to move forward. The other 2 will be to move by 1. And that's the direction as to direction increase by 1 modulo 4. Here decrease by 1 modulo 4. Equivalently increase by 3. Those are all possibilities, so that's it. Okay, now this is a new state. If it doesn't appear in the map, or it appears but with a worse value, the distance of S2 is greater than, well, than what? I need to also here provide the possible distance. Maybe is equal to as begin first. Now, if I move forward, the cost of that is 1. If I turn, the cost of that is 1000. if maybe smaller than the distance, then I in particular do this. But also if it exists, then in the set I erase a pair, yes, a pair of current distance, no, only if it exists, then set erase a pair of distance of S2, S2. So that's erasing a zombie element from a set. It's not necessary, but it's possible. This, and set insert with this distance, this state. Okay. Finally, we need to print. We want to be at the target. Doesn't matter what direction, right? I think so. So for each possible direction, we have some target state consisting of target first, target second, and the direction I. Minimize the answer with distance of this state, assuming that it exists. I think that's it. For each of 3 directions, you want to do this inside. Infinite loop, I think. Right, we have some input. Let's here print some values. We have a lot of negative values. That's suspicious. I guess when we move forward, we shouldn't move outside of the grid. So if, well, not inside. We got something. That's a very small value. It suggests a single turn only. Not the right answer. It's too low. Yeah. More and more wrong answers recently. What is the sample test? This is a sample test. 16 on sample test. 1025. Well, that's not correct at all. Do I check that it's a hash? I don't think so. So if A of this is equal to a hash, right? So I ignore the input basically. I just computed the length from one cell to the other by going forward, turning once and going forward. I think that could have been done simpler. 10,000, that's too much. Yeah, Manhattan distance plus 1,000, easy. This value does not appear here. Yeah. Let's make another test. Small. Wait. How could have I gone outside of the grid? That's not needed if there are hashes. So I can say here that if this happens, then assert false. I claim that this will never happen. Am I right? Yes. Because I'm surrounded with walls. Still, the answer is incorrect. Let's try a very small test. Start target. In this test, one move is enough. 16 on small, one move. Okay. If, on the other hand, it's in the other order, I need to turn 2 times, so the answer should be 2001. Sadly, the answer is 2001. Okay, then let's increase the grid size. From here to here, you turn, go, 2002. 2002. If you start from here, then you turn, then go, 1001. It's not correct. Yeah, this is incorrect. So even if I put walls here and there, why did the answer change? If you have dots, then the answer increases. That's very suspicious. All right. So you start here at 2, 1, direction 0, so you look to the right. The cost is 0. Then next you are here facing the same direction with the cost of 1. But it should be optimal to be at 2, 1 and direction 1 or 3 with the cost of exactly 1000, and it's not here. Why do I not see 2, 1, 1 with the cost of 1000? The 0 doesn't propagate into 1000. Why? Yeah, that's strange. Maybe should be copied inside. Thank you. Yes, you're right. When I increase maybe, it gets increased. Well, it should be independent. You're completely right. I consider 3 moves. In each of them independently, I want to compute the cost of getting there. Oh, I erased this. Maybe is distance of S, distance of state. Sample, I think it's okay, 7036. 7036. Right answer. Oh, there was no time. 0 seconds. Easy. Now 16.2. Yeah, thank you, Gupta, for spotting the mistake. Let's start the timer and go for part 2. Best spot to sit. The tile is on one of the best paths through the maze. Which tiles are part of any best path through the maze, including S and E tiles? Well, I can do it in linear time, maybe times logarithm from Dijkstra, but I'm guessing it's not necessary here. So there are 2 ways to solve such a problem. You can run BFS or Dijkstra from the start, from the end, and then for every cell you can combine the 2 distances to see if together they create smallest, so optimal distance. Here what I'm going to do, I think, I will be lazy, and for every state I will remember what are cells that lead me there, so, which is worse time complexity, but it's easier and it's good enough, I'm sure, for those constraints, right? Oops. It's 100 by 100, whatever will work. So I'm going to copy this thing, and not only the distance, but I'm going to remember all the cells that lead here. The way I will do it is I will create a bit set. Do you type it uppercase or lowercase? I don't remember. Of size 140. Bit set is like a Boolean array. 140 by 140. So this size should be enough. And that's for every cell 150 by 150. Previous. Okay, now this for a cell, it will be, no, it would need to be for the state. What cells lead you here optimally? Yeah. Then maybe it should be part of this thing. Yeah, I guess. Right. Pair of int and bit set of size 30,000. And this I want to be a constant, magic. I need it as a constant because bit set requires a constant. Now, initially when I start anywhere, I want to set this thing to bit 1. Bit set of magic TMP, TMP of this start. So get of start first, start second. This means change this bit to 1. And then make pair of this comma TMP, of this mask. No. Okay, what is get? This encodes a cell into a value. What do you want? I gave you int and the bit set. Okay, make pair. What then? So there is the value dot first and there is bit set. I have 3 possible moves. When I move forward, I additionally should say now b of this thing is equal to 1. So this is always up-to-date array of which cells are on the path. If I turn, then I don't change that. And then if this is the case, or equality. So if this is the case, then we erase. We say that this is the distance, and that is actually make pair of maybe and b. That's dot first. But there is one more case. Else, if there is equality here, so if not count, then it goes here, otherwise it is there. Okay, if there is a tie, so there are 2 ways that are equally good to get to a cell. So I went already there with the total cost of 7,000, and there is another way. Then I need to do some bitwise OR. Distance of S2 dot second should be ORed with B, and I believe that this will not run. I wonder if this is valid. So the second element in a map I can just change like that. I'm not sure. And then there is answer, and there is that final bit set. A, B, or B. Initially all zeros. If this is the case, then if distance of t first is smaller than what we have right now, then overwrite. Else, if equality, then bitwise OR. And what we print is b.count. I already saw this answer. Oh, this is different codes. Well, I can of course run on sample test, but here you go, works first time. 7 minutes and a half. That was surprisingly fast. I expected to spend more time on this. Why do you want to store everything before instead of just the previous moves? Then do a DFS from the end. It's just linear. I agree, Gupta. What you're suggesting is linear. So when I said that linear time you can get by running from the start and from the end, I guess I overcomplicated. You're right. You're right. We can store before edges, though it's more than one edge. Normally we create just one edge to a parent, like a breadcrumb. I guess I never did what you've just described. So it's news to me, but you're right. So alternative linear solution suggested by Gupta is that for every state, just store best possible moves, best possible last move leading you here. What you did just a moment ago, from what state you came here, it should be a vector of possible last state. So if I am, for example, here in cell 5,8 with direction of 0, I can remember that maybe I came here from 570, or maybe I came here from 583. In both cases, it will lead to the same total distance. So I remember both of those in a vector of possible steps, the most recent state from which I came here optimally. If I do it this way, then at the end what you need is a backwards DFS. You start from the final state, well, few of them, because you might have here up to 4 possible directions that are all optimal. And from them you run backward DFS to visit all the states that are possible, such that from there optimally you got to the target. One final thing that I could have done even in my code is that from the target row, target column, let's say that those are the coordinates, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you could have done a fake edge to some fake state, let's say 100 or maybe HW0. This can be a fake state that represents the target and which say that this is the answer that we print, the answer from this cell. If I did that, then I wouldn't need to bother with those lines here. So yeah, I did 100 lines of code. So that was... Oh, but I copied. Okay, yeah, sure. It's not that I did 100 lines of code in 7 minutes and a half. I completed day 16. Okay, we are almost 2 hours into the stream, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 8. So the problems take half an hour each? Yeah, it seems so. That's a lot of time. Am I slow here? Do real people solve it fast? This was 16. I'm looking for familiar names. Okay, both stars. I want to see somebody that I recognize. Well, I don't know those people. So what are we? Oh, Egor Kulikov. Okay, Egor, I do know. So 13 minutes is certainly possible. I did it in. Actually, I don't know because I didn't measure the first part. But second part, 7 minutes and a half. The first part, I guess it was less than 10 minutes, right? Okay, then this problem, let's say I solved in less than 20 minutes, so that's roughly the correct time. And then, I don't know, those times are certainly hard to believe, but maybe possible. It wasn't very hard problem, and you could have done it simpler. What was that for problem 15? Okay, in problem 15, nobody solved in less than 15 minutes. So if I solved it in half an hour, that's okay. Roman, is that a employee or maybe even founder of Kotlin or JetBrains? Yeah, Kotlin. Okay. For a day like this one, I could fight for the leaderboard. By the way, why are there few people with time of 15 something and then there is a cutoff to 19? That's very strange. So there is some cheating going on here? One person solving a problem and then everybody else copy pasting? How else can you explain this gap? Does that happen on other days? First is anonymous. Mr. Craig. No, I don't see it. Maybe it's a coincidence. Anti-age ISOL is legit. Okay. Still, I just find this strange. Some explanation would be some people here working as a group. I don't want to yet. Okay, let's see this. 14 minutes, and then there is 20. Okay, this is not that extreme. The day 15 was strangest in terms of that. This strange cutoff after top 5. Okay, so those two people, this one and this one, marked as sponsors, by the way, they are legit. Okay, thank you, chat. If we have information that those are legit, then I'm guessing that it was just a coincidence. Well, happens. And Jerome, I remember. So let's try next problem. Problem 17. And it might be the last one for today. I'll see how it goes. It's so time consuming to do those, right? I mean, I am fast, but still spending half an hour a day for a month or something like that, well, that's doable, but not for many people. For majority of people, solving both parts, well, maybe you should just solve one part, and then that's more doable for those. Maybe it's just extreme to go for 2 stars every day, and it is for the best. Getting 2 stars is for people who are very good. And if you're not very good, not very strong, then you should just go for a single star. And maybe even skip some days. I spent hours a day for a month. You only spend half an hour. Even though I'm not that bad, it takes me 1 hour on average after a few days. Okay, it makes me feel better that I'm not that slow. Advent of code is an exercise both in programming and maintaining a schedule. Maintaining a schedule or just not having a lot of responsibilities. No, not 18. I saw a title RAM. Okay, this is 17. Start. Let's go. A list of 3-bit numbers. We have 3 registers named ABC. They can hold any integer. We have 8 instructions. There is operand. Oh, this is already more complicated than previous statements. Instruction pointer identifies the position in the program where the next opcode will be read. Starts at 0. There will be jump instructions. If we go outside the array, then we hold. So we take opcode at 0, operand at 1. Once again, what are those? Opcode is a value from 0 to 7. And the input is operand. Two types of operands. The value of a literal operand is the operand itself. So this is assignment, right? Something becomes 7. The value of a combo operand can be found as follows. And combo operand means copy the value from register A. Eight instructions. I thought that will be it. I mean, that I need to just understand this part. We have division. What? Numerator is the value in the A register. Denominator is found by raising 2 to the power of the instructions combo operand. So we divide A by 2 to the power B. We truncate to an integer and then write to the A register. Bitwise XOR. What is this? Okay. Is there logic behind all of that, or is this all random? Why do you take A divided by 2 to the power B? And it's not even B like the register B, it's the value from combo operand. Bitwise XOR of register B and the instructions literal operand, where here it was from the instructions combo operand. Okay, yeah, I understand that this is bit shift, but why does this take register A and this takes register B? And why does this take combo operand and this literal operand? I don't want to do it. Your first task is to determine what the program is trying to output. Well, this is a small program. I can simulate it by hand. Not that it would be easier. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip this. I'm not going to solve all the problems. I just, yeah. This is an I think, of course, maybe there is some smart part here that I don't see, but it seems to be a task about properly understanding the statement. But if I make a mistake, the fixing it will be about reading the statement again and again and comparing to my code. Sure, I can do some testing, but I'm skipping. This problem is fun, maybe for you. I mean, we can YouTube Advent of Code 2024 day 17. Some people solved it, right? Martin, for example. Solving part 1 and then part 2. So part 1 is doable in 15 minutes. I don't know if he skips some time. Why is the code so short? Is this 856? 856. Those are not values from here. Does the statement list those values? I do not understand what can happen here. B is equal to A modulo 8, that makes sense, but then B XOR 5, where does the number 5 come from? Is it from the input? Disassembling the program yields those operations in that order. Okay, so you can understand the input. And then write down this. Okay, so it's some kind of puzzle then. Well, maybe not a puzzle, but just about understanding a lot. Maybe this is cool for people who like to reverse engineer codes then. See this guy's video. How do I find NTHI slow on YouTube? Check Jonathan Paulson. That's a lot of ifs. Okay, so it's implementing of the rules. Okay, guys, if somebody wants to get the solution of this problem, go on YouTube, watch some video. Okay, so this is the guy with the nick that I cannot pronounce. I recall that face from somewhere. Part 1 in 7 minutes. Okay, so that's fast. Apparently each rule can be implemented as like 2 extra lines of code. Okay, the fact that he solves it in 7 minutes makes me think that I made a mistake by giving up so quickly. I should have tried to understand. I don't know what should I do now. How come a top inverter coder doesn't identify a shift right? I mean, if you... It didn't matter to me whether this is also a simple operation. Divide a by 2 at power b. If I sat down and started to think for like half a minute what kind of normal operation it is, I would figure it out. But it doesn't matter. Whether you type this or this, it's equal difficulty. So I don't... Does it make... is it of any importance to understand that this is bitwise shift? Just at this point, what threw me off is that I need to implement 8 different things. And I see now that it's very simple, but still it seems annoying. Though if it's that short, then maybe I should have tried. But I don't see the fun in implementing the statement in your code by typing here you need to XOR, here you need to divide, whatever. Part 2 is really fun. Okay, if you're saying so. Also, I'm scared that part 1 took him 7 minutes. Part 2 took him, well, an hour. So what is part 2? Depending on that, I will decide if I want to do both parts. This program is supposed to output another copy of the program. You need to find the such value of register A that the program's output instructions produce an exact copy of the program itself. That seems interesting. So then if you indeed understand what is happening, okay, I see how this might be a cool exercise. But I'm very tempted now to call it a day and just not continue. Okay. I'm thinking if I want to do it. Grab a Red Bull and keep going. It will not change my thoughts about this kind of statement and the part 1. Is problem 18 interesting? Keep 17 for next stream. 18, 20 are easy, 17 is troublesome. Maybe instead solve 1890. Let's do it in order. Okay. Part 2 seems interesting. Let's solve part 1. I think the spoilers I got aren't very important. And I would feel bad solving 1819 and so on and having this hole of problem 17. Let's try. This single year I will do the full advent of code. So somebody, we looked lead coach at somebody who used this power of 2b. That's ugly. Yeah, you shouldn't use this. Of course, you should use that. I don't see a difference between those two operations, though. I think compiler will optimize them to be the same. Okay, let's go. 17. Just this year. Register A, B, C. And this will be sample. Okay. 8 instructions. There is ABC. ABC will be longs. Jump instructions. Do we have, what do we have here? Something from C, this. Where is the jump instruction though? Jump. If register A is 0, then do nothing. If A is not 0, it jumps by setting the instruction pointer to the value of literal operand. If this instruction jumps, the instruction pointer is not increased by 2. So is it safe to say that this is a vector of pairs? For now, I will just assume so. Maybe some operations take more values. Okay. But there will be some kind of vector, maybe of pairs, maybe not. The values from the input. There will be some kind of index. By default, the index is 0, pointing to the first pair. By default, it moves by 1. If it gets outside of the array, we hold. And sometimes it can change according to the function. The opcode is a value from 0 to 7. Opcode is 0 to 7. And there is single input. So operand or input follows. This is instruction pointer. There are two types of operands. Operand is the input. Okay. The value of a literal operand is the operand itself. So just the value that is here, that second. The value of a combo operand can be found as follows. It's this or that and doesn't appear. Okay. Get operand int x. If it's up to 3, then it is itself. If it's 4, return A. If it's 5, return B. If it's 6, return C. Assert false. And then there are instructions. And we save it here. Okay, so the operations are mostly void. Adv. We have division. and then we have operator. A becomes A divided by 2 at power x. Yeah, you can express it as one operation. BXL. Bitwise XOR, so we just do this. Okay. BST. Oh, and some are about literal and some are combo. So combo is this. So this is combo. Combo of x. I hate this, that we distinguish it like that. Combo of this. Here it's literal. Here it's combo. Modulo 8. And save to B. So random. A combo of x modulo 8. If a is equal to 0, and I want to keep using uppercase. If a is equal to 0, then do nothing. Otherwise, I is equal to literal operand, and then do not increase it by 1. I will just increase by 1. So let's say here I decrease by 1 to cancel that. Bitwise XOR of register B and register C, and stores the result here, and we ignore X. Value of its combo operand modulo 8, then outputs that value. Okay. So print combo of X. BDV. P30 is the P1530 is timer when we actually started the problem. Okay, thank you. Module 8 as well. Wait. Out. Yeah, module 8. Thank you. That would be actually extremely easy to spot because the output would be clearly just too big. BDV works exactly like that. Let me scroll. So division, except the B register. I shouldn't have made those functions. This should be just a switch, because now I need to say if it's equal 0, run this. That's a little bit stupid to make functions, but let me finish then. All right, and then there is input that looks like this. Register A and B, then read the value. Then like 6 times ignore. Seven times actually. Then read until end of file. Skip white space, put a comma between them. read an additional comma usually. V and place back XY. Uppercase, redefinition, CDV. Okay, 17 on the input, nothing happens. Makes sense, I'm not doing anything. Now, is this correct? 2413 something something 30. Okay, input is here and the functions. And what now? I want to just do this. P in V. I want to run one of those functions. How do you use switch in C++? Switch, well, X is P dot first. Some kind of, I don't know, A is P dot first, X is P dot second. Switch A, case 0, we do something, and then always we need to type break. This break is always stupid. I would prefer not to have break required in switch. Case should automatically do break. Am I doing it correctly? I hope that everybody in the chat has fun. Algorithmic competition. You know, don't get me wrong, the advent of code, like net value is obviously positive. A lot of people will practice programming. And, you know, in programming competitions, there are from time to time annoying problems that are not about thinking, because what I'm doing now, I would not call thinking. Just don't make a lot of them. That's it, I think. Puts. We printed 4. For sample, I also printed 4. Do we have a single jump thing? Oh, the I doesn't move. I shouldn't do it this way. I should use the index I. So while 0 is smaller or equal I is smaller than P, not P, V. While this is true, then this is V of I, and then at the end I++, I think. We got a lot of values, but I'm not going to check if it's correct, because I'm going to do this instead. Use into a single string. Not the right answer. Now it's time to look here. 4, 6, 3, 5, something, something. This is correct, right? Is it not? Okay, so am I correct for the sample? BDV reads A, not B. Huh? BDV Oh, the numerator is still okay. Thank you. B is equal to A shift by X. Like that. Something changed. Not the right answer. Combo of X. Thank you. Yeah, in terms of correctness, I hate this problem. You make a mistake and then you need to go again through this statement to notice it. Or you need to do a live stream where the chat can help you. 30 seconds. So this first part, and what happens after you get wrong answer is part of quality of a problem, I would say. And here, that's quality is bad. Quality of what happens after you get wrong answer. Is this still correct? It seems so. Yeah, then this should be copied. 1 second. Hey, that's the right answer. Thank you, chat, for the help. That was part 1. And now for something more interesting, and possibly the last thing for us to do today, we'll see, is part 2. So the input must be equal to the output. Lowest positive initial value for register A that causes the program to output a copy of itself. Let's try to understand how register A is used. Either we take it as combo of 4, this function just cuts the last bits, so possibly A will be a huge number. This does not modify A. So A without last few bits is B. That will be just difficult. The input remains, so I need to adjust the value of A so that printed values would be this. Okay, is there a way to avoid me now exactly writing down what happens? How anybody knows how to contact the Codeforces admin? I mean, why do you need it? Just start the timer. Sorry, few minutes extra, 2 minutes extra maybe. Two 1701453. There is no 6 here. That operation could have been completely wrong and it would be okay, right? Assert false. Yeah. Well, so this one doesn't matter. Okay. How do I want to do it? I guess let's have 2 text windows or something. And now 2, 4. BST. but then I need to scroll up to see that. Let's maybe copy this here. Yeah, it's not good that I made functions. Answer is more than 40 bits. Brute forcing is a no-go. I figured that. Oh, I know what I will do. This is a 0. This is a 1. This is a 2. I'm brilliant. Now I will not need to scroll back and forth. 6 doesn't happen. 7. Okay. Now we have this. So in order, this is BST, which does nothing. This can be ignored. BST do nothing. Then 1 3. Now this is important. A single mistake in this, okay, single mistake here will mean that I will waste time. B XOR equal 3. So maybe 2 4 nothing. 1 3 means B XOR equal 3, so B becomes 3. Then but later something can jump me to the left, so actually maybe I shouldn't say nothing. Also, this is not B, becomes that. Okay, 4, what is 4? 4 is A. Okay, not nothing. B is equal to, this is A modulo 8. Then B XOR equal 1 3 3 7 5. C becomes A without the last few bits. What is a 5? That's B. C becomes A without B. Zero 3. Why is BST nothing? It updates B. Yeah, I just thought that it does B equals B modulo 8, which is not true. So that was my mistake. Brute forcing this one takes days, even with Rust, at least hours. Is Rust known for being fast? Because I know that C++ is very fast. I never knew that Rust is fast. To me, it seems like it takes days, even if you do pen and paper. Some guy on Reddit brute forced. Good for him. Compiler does simp shenanigans. Compiler of Rust or C++? Okay, 0 3. The 3 is just a literal value, so it does this. Cut the last 3 bits. 1 5. What does 1 5 do? B XOR equal B? What? No, because this doesn't take combo for the first time. So far we used combo. No, this is just XOR equal 5, literally 5. 4 1. X is ignored, right? Five 5. Print combo of X modulo 8 and combo of 5 B So out B modulo 8. And then finally 3, 0. This is literal. Yeah, literal. So go to the beginning unless A is 0. Oh, so we just repeat this. If A is 0, then stop, else repeat everything. Okay. So A modulo 8 matters. C is some huge value, and C will be used here. So the previous bits. So the last few bits of A matter. Few bits before that also matter because of that. I think that we will be able to figure out bits of A from the end. Just try to choose such bits that it works so far and continue doing that. So what I'm guessing is this. If I increase A by a big power of 2, let's say 2 at power 20, if I run with this A, can I compile? Yeah. Okay. If I will run 17 on in, I get something. If now I replace with this other input, you see the few first outputs do not change, because few first outputs depend only on the last bits of A. This is how this program works, if I understand correctly. Here only last 3 bits of A. Then the next 3 bits of A, well, it depends on the value of B. Can B be huge by this point? Oh, I don't like it. Well, after that, B is huge. But if B is huge, then C possibly becomes 0. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure about it, but I'm trying to, I will still try to do it this way. I will try to fix bits of A backwards with a program, and I think that it will work. Yeah, we'll see. B becomes... Oh, you're right. Every time B is resetted, so the previous value of B doesn't matter. Oh yeah, then it's easy. Yeah, this is easy. Actually, from this, this became too easy, I think. So B matters a little bit here. Okay, here B is a value from 0 to 7. After that, it's still a value from 0 to 7. Then we shift A by that much to get the value of C. We cut the last few bits of A, which the order of doing that doesn't matter. We XOR with 5, we XOR with C. That's a very important operation. Actually, those two cancel out to say, we can say that in total we XOR with 3 XOR 5, so at 2, 6. So now XOR with 3 bits, and with something that is at most 7 bits earlier. And modulo 8. So the last 10 bits of A matter. Nothing else can matter, I think. So I claim that if we increase a number by 1024, then the first output does not matter. B is resetted, C is resetted, so every run is separate. Okay then. We will try different values of A. We have this. Let's try simulate. By the way, I like this problem. A is this, I is 0. We now run this. Instead of here printing, where do we print? Here. I will say my out pushback combo of x modulo 8. This will return a vector of ints. Return my out. At the beginning, I also clear it. I will try then different values of a. Well, I should have made a copy of a file, whatever. For first, let's try it like this. From 0 plus plus. Let's start with something. Okay, never mind. This. I need to have access to that because those are moves. So let's make it global, which I know is ugly. We will have here, what do I want to do? Out is equal simulate of A. If not empty, or for now, let's just print it. So we have different outputs. Some are shorter, some are longer. And I just want to say that every next number I want to be correct. What about this? Out2 is equal simulate of A plus 1024. Assert out of 0 is equal out2 of 0. Is this true? Yes, it is true. What if I say 512? Not true. See, so I did something not stupid and not random. At some point, for some reason, I figured out that the last 10 bits matter. And indeed, the program confirms that if you shift by 1024, so if the A changes by that much, then the first number can change. Okay. So now the value of A modulo 1024 affects the first number. And then only if this value is good, modulo 1024, and the first number is good, then you try different possibilities for next 3 bits, all 8 possibilities. So it will be, if for example 105 is good, then you will try this plus 1024 or this times 1024 by any value from 0 to 7. You check if the first 2 numbers are good, and so on. This will be a recursive function, or should it be BFS? Maybe it should be BFS. Candidates. Candidates for A. Pushback I. Then for every element from the target, which is V, targets, for every pair in V targets, push back P dot first and P dot second. Okay. Now for every target for every k up to target size, I want to try every a among candidates and verify if up to this position the output is correct. Yes, Gupta, I will have length of program times aims times simulation times 1024. I see some question about studying in Poland. Repeat your question after I'm done with the problem. Maybe then I will answer. So out is simulate of A. Actually, I could stop this simulation after enough moves, but doesn't matter too much. Now, whether this is okay. Okay is true. Check if up to k, if the elements are equal, or out of j is not targets of j. False break. If okay, then this is a good candidate. So now I want to say that new candidates get like 8 possible versions. Plus 1024, plus 2 times that, and so on. And finally, cans is equal new cans. Sure. Okay, and let's print how many candidates do I have. That's not good. Not good at all. So I have first, among numbers from 0 to 1024, I see that many of them that correctly print the first number in the output. And that number is 2. That's, by the way, suspiciously high number. I would expect 1 in 8 to be correct. In particular, I had here a program that prints something. Let's actually print 1024 times. This one I'm not doing. Yeah, it's not the case that always the first number is 2, so something is wrong. Ok is true. Check if out of j is not equal to targets of j. If out of 0 is equal to 2, count plus plus, count is equal to this. Just why did I see 640? That's such a high number. Count is 80. That makes more sense. So there are only 80 values that should be detected as okay. First candidates is everything up to 1024. Then for k equal to 0, what I do is I create new candidates. For every existing candidate, I simulate, starting from this A. I check if in the output, the values from 0 to 0 are okay. What if I say Out of 0 is equal to targets of 0. $640 still. Why? Oh, yeah. 80 times 8. So 80 candidates. For each of them, I see 8 possibilities. Thank you, Gupta. So it actually was not a mistake. Well, still then, this is bad. Maybe it's not correct to multiply. Wait a second. No. I start by saying that this is the power, and then every time I multiply by 8. Because only 3 next bits. And I obviously check this. Still too many zeros. But I'm guessing that we see here up to some moment good values of A. Let us print the first of them. And the last of them, why not? I'm a little bit worried about overflows. Of course, for zeros, this is runtime error. But theoretically, for those values of A, the first few numbers will be good. Let's check. If this is A, and actually I want to print, I should have copied the program. Now I lost it, unless I Control Z a bunch of times, or I scroll the stream and rewrite. Should it be the set? No, I do not create repetitions, I think. Well, what I can do is, after reading, for every object in simulate of A, what do I do? Print. Two, 4, 1, 3, 7, 5, 0, 3, 2, 5. Nice. But this value is around int size. I have some overflow. Long. Yeah, here we go. Int combo. Long combo. And this I think is okay. So I guess if I now remove that, I should see more stuff. Yay, nice. So this should be that smallest number. So my program was roughly okay, just some overflow happening. Not the right answer. Your answer is too high. Well, it's not good, but I'm going to check something. If I try this value, I should see all numbers being correct except for the last one. Print the input, run this. 5, 5, 3, 2, 7. Two numbers are wrong. Oh, I'm printing too many numbers, I think. This is the input. Okay, that's another issue. I print, but I print too much. I will try different candidates then. Because we want to get exactly some program, exactly some output, not an extra stuff. Okay. What about this? For every A among the candidates now, maybe here. If simulate of a size is equal to the size of targets, then print it. Are those good A's? But that is smaller than what we had before, though I copied something big. Yes, this is good. So this might be the answer. Done. With a higher A, you will only print more things, right? As a rule of thumb, yes, but there can be exceptions. Depending on few bits, something else might happen. Yeah, I'm not sure, Gupta. You're saying something reasonable, but still. Oh, right. We have some strange situation about that shift. So it's more complicated than that. Because here, no, but A is shifted consistently. The size of the output should be dependent only on the length of A. So how is it possible? Oh, I know, my vector is not sorted. Those things, this is first and last, but not necessarily sorted. If I sort the candidates, then maybe I didn't need to do that last part. Sort, what is wrong? Oh, can size, begin and end. I add things in some randomish order. So now I expect that next to 1664, we will here see 216 something. Yep, it is here. Okay, so yes, it is true that shorter A is shorter output. It's just that among candidates that give me the proper number of, no, not proper, the good prefix, I didn't choose the smallest one. Okay, 17 part 2 done. Took me half an hour, and I think it was a nice problem. So the first part I hated. Second part was fine. I wonder if it will be a good ICPC problem. In ICPC, you have 5 hours, 3 people, 1 computer. So maybe it makes sense to decipher a little bit, then figure out on paper. This is what you can do on paper. Figure out that actually the last 10 bits of A matter. So from that, you can guess that you can build backwards the number A. Yeah, in ICPC it would be a good problem. Though that first part is annoying, and we didn't really need instruction number 6, and few others we also didn't need. How well would I have ranked? What was my time for first part? Leaderboard 17. Well, the first part I rage quit, so I don't know how to count it. But the first part, I don't know if I would do correctly in 15 minutes. So yeah, I would be around top 100, I think. 15 minutes. Yeah, then during the stream, I would barely make the leader, or with the same speed, I wouldn't make the leaderboard. If I hurried and I didn't talk, I would make it, but barely, which is, I don't know, maybe an embarrassment. I should be very strong at competitive programming. Still, this is nice. So yes, to summarize, I try A values from 0 to 1023. So basically I try the last 10 bits of A. And then if something works, I wonder what can be the previous 3 bits so that the output would grow correctly. After those 10 bits, only those can affect the first number printed in the output, I figured out. So if they produce first good number in the output, they will for sure always provide good first number in the output. Then I choose the next 3 bits, and depending on what is here, 8 possibilities, I check if the second number is okay, and third one, and so on. Actually here, I think a for loop is not necessary. I could just check the kth element, because the previous ones I already checked. So I guess if I do this, then the program would still work. Let's see. Yes, still works. Time complexity is always, I have around 1024 candidates. I don't know if that's the rule, but it happens to be 1024 candidates multiplied by length of the output multiplied by simulation time, which is length of the output times length of the program. So maybe what we have is program cubic times 1024. Yeah, if program was longer to simulate, then the problem would be harder. Still, I can't. Well, I guess. I wonder what would be other reasonable function here. Certainly, if not for longs, so if I had Python at my disposal, this could work even for the output being of length 100 or so, because the time complexity, I think, is polynomial of that. Yeah. Anyway, cool problem. I'm happy that I cancelled my rage quit and I actually solved the problem. That being said, I think I have enough for today. I will not do 18, 19, 20. It's 3-hour stream already. Maybe after Christmas I will do the remaining problems. Tomorrow I'm going home, I mean to my hometown, to my family. Yeah, I need to change the title because it says days 13 to 20. Too bad. I'm looking at Codeforces to see if there are some interesting announcements. If not, then all right. Yeah, happy holiday to all of you who celebrated. Will it be possible to provide hint solution for this Polish Olympiad problem? What is it? Do I know it? Subarrays are called k-fragments. Number of distinct elements. Do this. Is it some kind of sliding window? No, 3000. Bout on C. What is C? I don't know how to solve it in 5 seconds. I know how to solve it in cubic time complexity. But there is that bound on C. Why? Wait a moment. Doesn't that mean that... No, it doesn't mean that. I wanted to say that big squares do not matter. Yeah, I don't know how to solve the problem. Sorry. Somewhere in Polish Olympiad website you can find the editorial, most likely, in Polish. Yeah, I also think for each values you count contribution separately, but I don't know what to do next. So, but I would go that direction. For every value, I would see where those elements appear. All right, everybody. I solved problems up to 17, including 17. Part 1 was annoying. Part 2 was okay. Still, it's easy to make mistakes, but that's a normal problem. We are getting a more and more complete picture here. And now that I went through 17 part 1, I think I will finish this year. But the remaining problems, expect that after Christmas. So maybe around 27th of December, we'll see. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Merry Christmas to all of you, or just happy holiday break, or happy few days if you don't celebrate it in any way. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope that I wasn't too annoying to listen to when I complained about problem 17 at first. No, I don't have any Polish forum, sorry Shanto. All right, have a good evening, day, whatever, everybody. Bye bye, thank you again.